Before we go any further, make sure to subscribe if you enjoy true-to-life drama stories. I never imagined that an ordinary dinner invitation could spiral into one of the most degrading experiences I've ever had. Emily and I had been married for 6 years by then. Our marriage wasn't perfect, far from it, but I had always made it a point to be steady, understanding and respectful, even when things between us felt strained. I believed that respect was the foundation of any relationship, something that had to be mutual. That night, however, shattered many of the assumptions I had been holding on to, not just about my wife, but about how people judge others. It began simply. Emily suggested we meet a few of her friends at a newly opened restaurant downtown. I agreed without hesitation, assuming it would be relaxed and pleasant. As soon as we walked in, though, I sensed something was off. There were glances, lingering, curious looks directed toward Emily mixed with subtle judgment. I chose to ignore it, keeping my attention on her and trying to maintain an easygoing atmosphere. Midway through dinner, Emily leaned toward her friend Sarah and murmured something under her breath. I didn't think much of it at first. It seemed harmless, like casual gossip. Then an uneasy feeling crept in, a tightness in my chest, a quiet warning that something unpleasant was about to unfold. Emily turned back toward the table and laughed, but it wasn't warm or friendly. It was sharp, deliberate, and clearly meant to be heard. The table went silent. Heads turned. That's when I noticed Sarah, her face drained of color, her eyes widening as if she had just realized something far too late. For a brief second, it felt as though time had stopped. And in that moment, it became clear. They hadn't expected me to be there. They didn't truly know who I was, or rather, they had convinced themselves that I was insignificant. Most people saw me as unremarkable, someone easy to dismiss. But my profession had trained me to stay observant, composed and patient under pressure. I didn't need to react loudly or defensively. I remained seated, calm and silent, allowing the tension to speak for itself. I felt the weight of attention settle over the table, but I didn't flinch. Emily, meanwhile, carried on as if nothing had changed, unaware of the discomfort spreading around her. Weeks earlier, she had brushed off my career in front of her friends, treating it as though it were trivial. The years of effort, discipline, and reputation I had built meant nothing in her social circle. She believed her confidence and cutting humor placed her above me. That night, she was unknowingly dismantling that illusion. As dinner progressed, the mood shifted noticeably. Conversations dulled. Laughter sounded forced. Every time Emily glanced my way, Sarah stared, tense and uneasy, as though she was trying to reconcile what she knew with what she was seeing. Whenever Emily attempted to rope her back into quiet jokes, Sarah froze, reminded of something she hadn't anticipated. I took my time with my drink, moving slowly and deliberately. Emily began to sense the change, though she didn't understand it. Her posture stiffened, her words faltered, and for the first time, uncertainty flickered across her face. She realized, perhaps instinctively, that I wasn't someone she could casually belittle. I didn't seek revenge or validation. I didn't argue or expose anything. I let restraint and silence do the work. Gradually, people began to understand that their assumptions about my quiet nature and calm demeanor were flawed. By the time dessert arrived, the tension was impossible to ignore. Emily's laughter sounded nervous now, her confidence wavering. Sarah avoided eye contact entirely, fully aware that something significant had shifted. Without a single confrontation, I leaned back, composed, observing every subtle reaction. Experience had taught me that true authority doesn't come from noise or aggression. Sometimes it comes from simply knowing your worth and refusing to compromise it. Emily tried to regain control, cracking jokes to reclaim the table's energy, but it was too late. Her words were weighed carefully now, and her presence no longer dominated the room. When the evening ended, Emily hesitated in small ways, gestures, that revealed she hadn't expected this outcome. She had assumed I would stay quiet as usual, letting her narrative stand. Instead, she was confronted with the reality that her power was never absolute. We left without conflict. No raised voices, no public confrontation. On the drive home, she barely spoke. I didn't press her. She knew she had crossed a boundary, and I allowed her to sit with that realization. Sitting in the car afterward, I reflected on the night. It wasn't about embarrassing her or asserting dominance. It was about respect, boundaries, and understanding that calm confidence often speaks louder than any argument. That dinner marked a shift. Emily would never look at me the same way again. Without saying a word, I had made it clear that my dignity was not negotiable, and that lesson lingered long after the restaurant doors closed.